It's Sunday night, and it's time for the main event. That's right, you've been waiting. We're back at it again. Another PLE in the books and another Flex Zone review coming your way. And I got another illustrious guest. He's back to join me. You know him, you love him. John Cena. We know when his final match will be. We'll recap the 5 matches. Jeff Cobb debuts in WWE. What's happening tomorrow on Raw? Looks like a major show as we are on the road to Saturday night's main event and Money in the Bank. It's the Flex Zone. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell if you haven't already. We're going live to talk about Backlash right after this. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight on Sunday, May 11th, your Mother's Day. Very special shout out, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. From us to you, happy Mother's Day. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep doing the great work that you're doing. Yours truly, God's favorite host here, back again with more content. Another PLE. I told you guys we were going to start doing reviews, and we will do them for you here on the Flex Zone. As you can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Let me know what you're looking forward to this week on WWE TV. We got a big Raw. We're on the road to Saturday night's main event. We're headed towards Money in the Bank. Night of Champions was announced, and I got a very, very special guest to join me. You know him, you love him. But first, I would like to send my condolences, a big rest in peace to one of the pioneers of ECW, one of the pioneers of hardcore wrestling. Sabu did pass away earlier today at the age of 60. The suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death-defying maniac. In a quick moment of silence, drop those prayer emojis in the chat for Sabu. May he rest in peace. If you know anything about ECW, you know anything about this hardcore style of wrestling that we know today, one of the pioneers, you think about guys like Terry Funk, Sabu is definitely in that discussion. So rest in peace to him, and may his family grieve. I want to get into Backlash, but I cannot do it alone. Joining me, he joins me every week, every day, just about every stream. He's working hard. You can kick it with him on his channel. He does gaming, horror, and pro wrestling. Liv Morgan's #1, the Flex Zone's ace, the workhorse, the one and only, the man, the myth of legend, H-Town's finest, my brother from another, the one and only, Kicking It with Leo. What's up, brother?
Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody?
Leo, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's good? What's good, everybody? Happy Mother's Day from me to you all. I hope you all had an amazing day. Here to talk
What's
about
up, brother? For those who don't know who you are, man, let them know how to keep up with you and what you got going on.
Yeah, my channel is Kicking It with Leo. I do wrestling content. Been doing content for quite some time. At this point, almost 5 years at this point. Come October, so I'll be celebrating that. Uh, Looking forward to talking Backlash. I think Backlash was a very interesting pay per view. I would say.
I agree. If you guys are new to what Leo does, his channel's in the description. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Alex, our condolences again to you about your cousin. We are here for you. Let's get into Backlash, Leo. We kind of were on the fence about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, it's a B-level pay-per-view. But the show, I think, was arguably one of the best shows of the year so far. I have it number 2 behind Elimination Chamber,
yeah.
personally. How did you feel about the overall show coming in and leaving out of it, man? It was a great 3 hours of wrestling.
It was for one, it feel like the show was very paced very well. It seemed like it started off at 6 and we were literally out of the show before 9 PM. So that was good. AEW, if you're watching this, take notes. This is how you book an actual pay-per-view. You don't have to book 15, 20 matches of matches that don't need to be on the card. You could actually, it's okay to have 5 matches if it needs to be. So um I thought the show was really great. I thought, like you said, for me, I'm definitely putting it up there right behind Elimination Chamber. As my number 2 favorite pay-per-view of the year. That's gonna probably get a lot of people talking because we're putting this over WrestleMania and over the Royal Rumble. Yes, the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, as we know, they're their biggest shows, but they were not as good as Backlash and Elimination Chamber. So um I was going into the show thinking like, okay, it's a B-level pay-per-view. Don't expect too much. Don't set the bar too high. And this is something that I like that Triple H does. He notices, he probably does pay a little bit of attention online, even though he says he doesn't. But like he probably went into it like, you know what? They think that this show is going to be an absolute dud. We're going to surprise the fans and we're going to actually put up an amazing show. And that's exactly what they did from top to bottom. I think every match I feel like got time and actually told an amazing story between the competitors.
It did. It did. And like I said, this is how PLEs, pay-per-views, whatever you want to call them, need to be. We don't need 4 and 5 hours. A good 3 to 3.5 hours is a good sweet spot. 5, 6 matches. I mean, this could have
Mhm.
used another match and we still would have been out of there by 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
9 PM your time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love the show, love the timing of it, and I love this opening match. If anyone knows me, knows I'm a Jacob Fatu guy, your favorite Samoan. He's bringing prestige back to the United States Championship. We had the Fatal 4-Way with him. LA Knight, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre went almost 18 minutes. We knew who was
Mhm.
going to win. I don't think that was the
Yeah.
surprise. But the debut, Leo, of Jeff Cobb in WWE, the rumors are true. What should people expect with Jeff Cobb? Because he is a beast if they don't know.
This guy is a monster. Go back and watch the stuff that he's done in New Japan. And this is everything that you need to know. Go watch his match with potentially his future opponent, Jacob Fatu at MLW. Those two tore the house down. I feel at some point in time we are going to see those two clash once again. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it literally as early as SummerSlam. And then they off that you can build towards Solo because now you can see what we saw throughout the match. You saw how Jacob looked at Jeff Cobb. He was like, "What is he doing here? Who is this?" And now it's gonna cause some tension even more within the bloodline, which I like because we already see that Jacob is his own man. He's on the fence already. Solo knows it. He can tell. So I think it's only a matter of time before Jacob literally says, "You know what? I need to go and carve my own path. I'm distancing myself from all of this. Y'all do y'all, and I'm gonna do me." I think honestly, with how he's been presented, I think he's gonna go on a Gunther like run with this U.S. Championship. I don't see him losing this championship maybe until maybe next year's WrestleMania.
That's what I said. I think the US title needs to be the number one title, needs to have that Gunther-like run because it's bringing relevance to a title that is your number one title because John Cena's a part-timer, so he's not going to be
Hmm.
there every week.
Yep.
I mean, we did hear Drew McIntyre got hurt on that table spot, but apparently
Yeah.
he is good according to Triple H. Yes, we know Jeff Cobb is 42, but he wrestles like he's 22. Like Leo said, he has some bangers. Where do you see this going next with Jacob Fatu? Who's maybe his next challenger? Because I think they're going to probably lead into, like you said, one of the matches with one of them probably at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think next, depending on what happened last night, I think LA Knight, it's safe to say he's done with the US title scene. I think if we were to have a draft, maybe he gets to move over to Raw, maybe go after the Intercontinental Championship. I think that'd be something interesting for him to do. It's another title for him to potentially win. I mean, even though a lot of people really want to see him win that world championship, and I always said it, his chance of winning a world title seem much greener on Raw compared to it is on SmackDown because it's like you have a lot of the top names there. You have your Jacobs, you have your Solos there, you have Roman Reigns over there, I think still on SmackDown. You have Cody, you have John Cena, and I don't think his chance of winning a championship is very slim over there. So him going to Raw, new pastures, a new opportunity, a new landscape, I think would be interesting for him. As far as what Jacob's next opponent is, you could do maybe Damian. I think Damian and Jacob can have a great match, but I'm really want to see Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu go at. I think that's the match that you should lean into, maybe at Money in the Bank.
That would be a banger. I agree with you. I think that would be fantastic. I do think we're going to get probably one more match with Drew and Damian Priest. It
Yeah.
seems like, but LA Knight probably maybe is going to be Jeff Cobb's first opponent. Maybe we get Jeff Cobb and LA Knight maybe as soon as the next couple of weeks. We could get that. I do agree LA Knight needs to go to Raw. What do you think about, like I said, with Jacob Fatu? We're going to get him in solo. Is that the SummerSlam match? Do they hold that off till maybe, I don't know, sometime the end of the year? Because, like you said, we're probably going to get Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb, probably going to get Jacob Fatu in solo. Does Jacob go in it alone? Does he go get help?
Um, well, you could have help with Jacob. I mean, he could honestly get maybe a Hikaleo or a Lance Anoa'i potentially coming in because we know both guys are signed, so they could come in to pay dividend, especially if he's gonna be going up against this new bloodline that's gonna consistent of the Tongans when they, are on television, at least for Tonga Loa. We already know Tama Tonga's gonna be there. So you have, him. You're gonna have Jeff Cobb. You're gonna have Solo. Then you have Tama Tonga gonna come. Tonga Loa is gonna come back at some point. So it's gonna be like a 4-on-1 situation, and then he's gonna have to call him back up. But I do think potentially what we could be doing is maybe on the route to getting him to facing Solo at SummerSlam because I think that is the match, especially with it being 2 nights. You want to have a match like that on your card, so you could have potentially maybe it depending on how they pull the trigger on it, we could see it as early as SmackDown. And if you did do it as early as SmackDown, you could do maybe 2 month build at least for Solo and Jacob. But before that, maybe you have him face maybe Jeff Cobb on either Money in the Bank or Saturday's Night Main Event. You could do it there, depending on the timing of when they decide to pull the trigger.
And we'll get into the news a little later about Cena, but there will be a Saturday night's main event in December. So probably the last big show of
Hmm.
the year. Wonderful opener. And honestly, it got even better from here because this may have even been one of the matches of the night too. This could have
Yeah.
been even better depending on who you ask. I wouldn't be mad if you did say Lyra Valkyria. And you were on the fence. You said you could see it going either way with her possibly retaining. So I gotta give you your flowers there. Good job,
Hmm.
Leo. Defeats Becky Lynch with the roll
Yeah.
up. 18 minutes, 45 seconds. I was a critic of this Becky Lynch heel turn. She looked fantastic. I don't think they're done. Lyra gets
No.
the win. New star is made. I like Lyra from the beginning. You saw the past few weeks. She's been getting promos. What do you think about the match and where we go from here?
I think the match was really good. I think the match that they had in NXT was really good. It just showed that they really have great chemistry. You can see how Becky was trying to put Lara over throughout this feud, even as a heel. I think with this performance that she's had, I think she's really gained more momentum. And now I feel like the fans are starting to get behind her with this recent push that she's been getting as champion and this recent performance that she's had as well. So I feel like I said this before, similar to what we've seen at WrestleMania, where we've seen Charlotte and Tiffany. Tiffany needed to beat Charlotte because it really would have established Tiffany as not only a champion but a character as well. And I think the same thing can be said for none other than Lyra here, defeating a big name in like Becky Lynch that established her reign and her championship reign and established her as a character and as a champion. I think this was probably one of the best matches I've seen women's wrestling wise on WWE side of things this year. I think those two are going to continue feuding. I would not be surprised if Becky comes out on Raw tomorrow night. She could probably cut a promo and she says, "Well, Lyra may have won, but she escaped. She didn't beat me. She escaped me. She got lucky. Maybe the feud continues. Then maybe we'll do something because we have, like you said, Saturday Night Main Event coming up. You got Money in the Bank coming up. You got Evolution coming up. So you have a lot of more pay-per-views that could potentially continue this. I do expect Bayley to come back at some point, and then maybe we have a situation where maybe Becky is champion by then, or maybe Lyra is champion, and maybe that's how she loses her title. Um, I do expect probably we'll get a rematch maybe at Saturday Night Main Event because you do want to build up matches for that card, and then maybe Becky gets the win there.
I think Bailey is coming back soon. I don't think they want to put everything on the show last night. Plus, it would have kind of took away from Lyra's moment.
Mhm.
Becky going at her husband. The heat that Becky got was great. The match was great. I know
Yeah.
you're not the biggest Becky Lynch fan, but when that bell rings, she's as good as anybody. I got to give her
Yeah.
credit. But we may
Yeah.
get a triple threat. We could even get a triple threat.
Mhm.
So I'll be intrigued to see what happens. I think Bailey maybe come back tomorrow. Maybe she comes back tomorrow. Because I think Raw tomorrow, I just feel like it's going to be a big show. Like, they got a lot of stuff they're teasing,
Yeah,
so it could
because
be
you
a
want
big
to
show.
build toward Money in the Bank, because Money in the Bank is starting to set the seeds for SummerSlam. So I could see maybe a Becky or a Bailey potentially in the women's Money in the Bank because I feel like they are going to start doing qualifying matches on tomorrow anyway. So
Let's get to the next match. This was the shortest match of the show, surprisingly. Only went almost 10 minutes. Dominic and Penta. We all thought Dominic will retain, but how? After all, it looks like we're going to get Grande Americano involved. He does. I think we're leading towards a mass versus mass match, but how do you
hmm
feel about this match, man? And Dominic, man, he's got to be making Liv proud. He's doing a hell of a job in the ring. And Penta, we know, is great, as always.
yeah, I feel like we looked at the match. We kind of knew that Dominic was going to retain. It would have been nice to see Penta win, but we knew that there was going to be different X factors playing against him in his favor of winning. We knew the Judgment Day were going to get involved, and we've been teasing a feud between El Grande Americano and Penta, which I do think potentially might be a Saturday Night Main Event, or maybe even um, what's the NXT show I think they're doing?
Worlds collide. They could do
They
it there.
could do
Worlds
it
collide.
there as well, but I'm not too sure, but they could do it there. It would be kind of crazy because people have been throwing that idea. What if they do Penta and El Grande Americano for the speed title? I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how I feel about that, but I do expect the match, not for the speed championship, of course, but I thought the match was decent. I loved seeing Dominic hit the Oblivion. That was probably one of my favorite moments of the match. Paying homage to Liv Morgan, who's probably gonna be back within the next week or two. So she'll be back in the timeline for Money in the Bank. So she might find herself in Money in the Bank, but that's a different story. But I thought the match was decent. I knew there was going to be shenanigans. And it seemed like that they were definitely playing the crowd, at least for the match, was pro Dominic. They were pro Dominic in this match. They were singing his song. They were singing his name. You It was kind of crazy. It's crazy in 2025 that literally Dominic is getting cheers. 2 years ago, he's the most booed guy in the company, not getting a single cheer. He couldn't even pick up the microphone without getting booed. This is crazy that we're living in this timeline in WWE. But um, I think Dominic is going to do some amazing work. We know what his story is probably going to be with Finn Balor within the Judgment Day. We know we're going to tease that story probably a little bit more. According to multiple rumors and sources, that turn is supposed to happen at Night of Champions, which we do know will be June 28th from Saudi Arabia. So we'll see if that does come to fruition.
Yeah. How do you feel? Like I said, we'll probably get a mass versus mass match. Do you think Penta has lost too much as of late, or you think he still looks strong? Because I
I,
mean,
I,
he'll probably get the IC title this year at some point.
he's gonna get the IC title this year. I feel like people are looking into this a little bit too critical. I understand people want Penta to look strong, and he looked strong to me even in defeat because he didn't really lose clean. There were literally outside interferences, multiple outside interference with the Judgment Day and El Grande Americano. So it kind of kept him looking strong in the feet. And like you said, I do expect we do get a mask versus mask match where we do see El Grande Americano lose, and then that's where we have the unmasking of El Grande Americano because they've been teasing the story literally since before WrestleMania. So I think it is going to come to an end relatively soon.
I do too. Should be fun. I'm loving what Dom is doing and the whole mid card. Both shows mid cards are in a good place. We got Rusev back. We got a lot of fun people to play with on both shows. Aleister Black, obviously. All right, the next match. This divided a lot of people in the
Yeah.
community. I thought it was the best built match of the card. Had a story, made me
hmm
believe into it. I was a little skeptical at first. I think we know where it
hmm
might be going. We can talk about
Yep.
that. 14 minutes. We were taking bets before the match. I said 13 to 15 minutes. I was looking at it going long. It did. Gunther defeats Pat McAfee. You called it. You said referee stoppage. Good job again. Gunther wins. What's next? And how'd you feel about the match?
I mean, I got to give props up to literally Pat McAfee. I mean, Pat McAfee, put up a great performance with what he was given. I mean, it looked like he actually went in there. It felt like he belonged. There were spots throughout the match where it looked like he could legit win this, and you knew. Like before the match, Michael Cole says, I'm going to be absolute biased on this. I want literally Pat McAfee to destroy Gunther." And it looked like towards the when you had the match end, it looked like Gunther had some respect of sorts towards Pat McAfee after the performance and whatnot. I know a lot of people thought this was going to be a squash match. I do believe Gunther could potentially be taking some time off. I believe maybe Pat McAfee might take some time off potentially because we know college football season and stuff like that. So he could be taking some time off for that. But I thought the match was really good. I thought, those two stole the. I feel like that was one of the matches that I feel like could have really stole the show tonight. On that night, I feel like with the story that we've been seeing, this point, I actually thought for a split second Gunther would have lost, and I was literally saying the only reason why I would be okay with Gunther losing, just so I could see the IWC boil over at the sight of literally Gunther losing back-to-back pay-per-views. He loses World Championship to Jey Uso and then loses to Pat McAfee. The people in the IWC would have been irate, and I would have just been loving it, sitting back, drinking my water, drinking my milk, and just laughing at them. Just laughing, just having a good time seeing them literally cry like the little babies that they can be sometimes. But it the match was good. The match, it did what it needed to do. The right person won. I think Gunther needed the win because he lost at WrestleMania. He needed to get that win back. He needed to gain some momentum. So, especially with what they probably could be doing with him, I said maybe apparently a certain Oldberg, I'm not calling him Goldberg, he's Oldberg. I think maybe if you set up that feud, maybe you set that up at Money in the Bank. Maybe Gunther is in Money in the Bank. Maybe we set some teases up before then. He goes into Money in the Bank. Looks like he's about to unhook the briefcase because WWE likes to do some screw jobs in Money in the Bank where somebody's about to win it and another person comes in and pushes him off the ladder. Gunther's going to be in that scenario this year. And I think that's how we set up the stage for them to at potentially SummerSlam.
I'm hearing rumors, and I don't know if it's true. The rumor is the Saturday night's main event on July 12th, the same day as AEW All In, the night, because the AEW is during the day. I'm hearing it might
Mm,
be in Atlanta, where Goldberg is from. So that could be maybe where he comes out and confronts him, and it leads into maybe a SummerSlam match. But do you do it at SummerSlam since it's 2 nights? Would you do it there?
Me personally, I would not want it to be at SummerSlam. Me personally, I would say you could do this at Saudi, like just do it and get it out the way, and then you can maybe move on to something else with Gunther. I know people have been saying maybe he moved to SmackDown. I think him going after the U.S. title being an addition to that title scene would be cool. And then maybe once we finish the story with John Cena as world champion, maybe we give it back to Cody or give it to Punk. Then we can maybe set something up with maybe Gunther at that point. I would not even be upset if they want to do Gunther and Cena. I would not be upset because I think that's a match that I want to see happen before his tour and his retirement and everything like that. But I feel like it's safe to say that it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, we will see it happen once Cody or maybe Punk is champion because I do predict Punk probably to be the one to take the title off of Cena. And then maybe next year at Mania, we do Punk and Cody because we were teasing that going into this year's Mania. So I kind of see that's the route they could be going.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting if it is announced to be in Atlanta. I say they may do it at SummerSlam, but it could be Saudi because
Yeah.
Night of Champions they could 8 matches or something.
Yeah.
Let's get to the main event. And then we were all skeptical because let's be real, John Cena, he's not what he was in the ring. Still can cut a good promo.
Yeah.
The heel run has been kind of cut a promo,
Hit or
get
miss.
RKO'd, hey, cut a promo, get crossroads, lay there like he did. 27 minutes, almost 30 minutes. I was
Yeah.
surprised it went this long. It was overbooked. It was crazy. A lot of RKOs for
Mhm.
everybody. You could RKO, you could RKO. And then we see, and I called it, I said R-Truth may get involved. He didn't try to help Cena. He just blocked him from getting punt kicked. He gets RKO'd. We then also see him get put through a table. You put it in the chat. They did it on the post show. Whatever. I don't know why, but whatever. They like to do that
Yeah.
now. It looks like we're maybe getting Cena and R-Truth at Saturday night's main event. And also, WCVB TV in Boston ran a piece announcing his final match. John Cena will be December 13th, Saturday night's main event at the TD Garden in Boston, right outside of where Cena is from. How do you feel
Mhm.
about all that, Leo? The match, where we're going, and the final match. Any potential opponents? Because I think he will be a babyface in that final match.
I do expect him to be a babyface in the final match. I do think his opponent is probably going to be maybe a Cody Rhodes at that point, or maybe it is a Punk. But for some reason, I feel as if he's probably not going to be champion around that time. Around that time, I feel like you said, I have a feeling that Cody is going to win Money in the Bank, and he's going to cash in advance or something like that for SummerSlam. He takes the title back. Then he turns back face. Maybe he goes after the Intercontinental Championship for his last few months because I think that's something he's not done. And then we can put a bow on that. Um, the match I enjoyed. I feel like the match it was telegraphed a little bit. It was kind of anticlimactic towards the end, but we knew why it was because it's the last match, so it's kind of overbooked a bit. I would honestly put this match number 2 right behind their match they had at Breaking Point. I would put this match there. It's definitely better than their match that they've had over the years. Definitely better than the match they had back at TLC in 2013. Definitely better than the match they had at Royal Rumble 2014. Yeah, I have to put that match up there. So, um, I thought the match needed what it did what it needed to do. They definitely playing the seeds between John Cena. We knew I had a feeling R-Truth is going to come in there. We know we were seeing some teas before the show and leading up to the show, I would say. And the record of Randy Orton continues losing in his hometown. He lost that Money in the Bank in his rematch against Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship. He lost at the Royal Rumble in 2022, getting thrown up by Brock Lesnar, and then he loses tonight. So it's 0-3 for him, and it's probably going to continue. Um, I feel like R-Truth and Cena, I'm still on the fences of this and how this could work. Could it be an interesting match? Maybe. Just maybe. But I'm scared to see this match because I have PTSD from the last time I seen these two face each other, and that was Capital Punishment 2011. And that is a pay-per-view I want to forget. And now we're probably about to see it relived, the main event relived, because I feel like that match is kind of part of the main event. But it's a good spotlight for R-Truth. He gets another crack at the world title because I don't think he's had a crack at the world title since 2011. So this is good for him. I think it would be kind of funny in an alternate universe if he did beat Cena because that probably would get people talking. The fact that he lost his championship to none other than R-Truth.
I would love
And
that.
then
I ain't gonna
and
lie.
then
I would love
then the
that.
character work R-Truth could do if he is champion, if he's WWE champion, he beat his hometown hero. We saw what happened at the press conference. He came over there, he said, "I believed in you and no one else did, even though when they said the certain things that they said about you." Then he literally gets up, he says, "I would advise you not to say anything again." And we know R-Truth, he's just he always likes to try people's patience, being funny, and it costing him. He got AA through the table. He took his championship. He said, "No more questions," and I'm out of here. I don't know what R-Truth is gonna say either on Raw or SmackDown, wherever show they're probably gonna tell the story on. But R-Truth is probably gonna be saying some crazy stuff. Jonathan is gonna probably have to AA him a couple more times before he says, "You know what? I thought you were my hero, but now you're my enemy. And if you're my enemy, I got to take that championship from you, and therefore you set things up at Saturday's main event." Because I think that it's going to be in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We got Logan Paul, Jay Uso announced for that. We'll probably have Cena and R-Truth. I think that's where Cody could come back. And then I think we may get the Nia Jax Tiffany Stratton match probably.
Yeah, that'll
And then
probably
I
be
would
there.
I would do the Street Profits and Fraxium, the rematch for the titles on there. That's 4 matches.
Yeah, that's 4 matches. And then if you decide to, maybe you could do something else. I don't know if they're gonna put the women's mid card titles on there. Depends on what story they got going on with them. Maybe they do something with the US, maybe, because I know we just did some with the IC, so they kind of like to float back and forth. So like if one title's on the show here, then the next one there's a title on the show. We didn't have any of the world title matches for the women on this show. So maybe we'll do like a women's world title match. I know we're still teasing EO and potentially Rhea Ripley. Maybe they're going to save that for Saturday's main event possibly, or maybe they do this potentially at Money in the Bank or Evolution. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I definitely agree. I think CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker and Seth probably will be on that card as well. That's a match I thought was going to be on Backlash, but they might postpone it until Saturday's night main event. So we could get at least a potential good 5-6 matches on the card at least.
Yeah, that'll be fun in 2 weeks. And of course, we will be live for that, Leo. You know, we cover Raw, so we got to talk about Raw real quick. Big time match. This match could have been on Backlash, but we got Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Mommy returns back from Australia to take on Roxanne and Julia. This has been built up wonderfully over the past few weeks. Even though
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne did lose, we got AJ Styles and Finn Balor. Always love to see the two Bullet Club members go at it.
Yep.
That is going to be fantastic. We got the Creeds and the Viking Raiders in tag team action. I'm guessing probably number one contendership probably for the New Day. So maybe they'll have a match at Saturday Night's main event or something. So three
Potentially.
things right there. We could see Bailey return. We'll hear from Seth and Braun Breaker, I'm sure. Probably CM Punk's going to appear tomorrow. Big show tomorrow.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big show because, we're still teasing the stuff with Dom and Finn. So I feel like that's going to play a dividend in this match. But we know the chemistry that Finn and AJ have. We know AJ's on track to probably winning the Intercontinental Championship. I think I have a reason to believe that he might get his hands on that championship. And then maybe from there, I would honestly say if he's not involved in Money in the Bank, have Karrion Kross be the one to take the IC title from AJ once he wins it. If they're not going to put him in the Money in the Bank. Honestly, I would love to see Karrion Kross be in that Money in the Bank match and then potentially cash in on Jay. Now, that is something I would love to see. But we'll see if that does happen because I feel as if they are going to start doing some Money in the Bank qualifying matches tomorrow. I feel like with it being literally less than a month away, you need to start building matches. I don't think you need to rush it. I think tell some stories over the course of some weeks going into that show. Um, I think with the War Raiders and Creed Brothers, I think that might be an interesting match. I feel like War Raiders are going to win that. Simple for the fact that we have heels as champions, so it makes more sense for a face to win it. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to Rhea and Io versus Roxanne and Julie. I feel like that match is going to be really good. I feel like the chemistry that they probably can have with all four of those women are going to be insane. I would be surprised if they have Roxanne and Julia get the win because we know that they're teasing some stuff between Io and Rhea because those two are on a collision course at some point for the Women's World Championship after everything we've seen take place going into WrestleMania, knowing that Rhea is still on the chase for that championship. So could there be some dissension there? Could there be some miscommunication that ultimately cost them? I would expect that there will be, and maybe that could be the downfall of them losing. I think we're in for a very interesting show. Like I said, with the match that we do have, we're probably going to get some Money in the Bank qualification matches as well. So we'll see.
Real quick thoughts on SmackDown this past week. We saw Fraxion beat the Street Profits non-title. Alexa Bliss return team with Zelina. Maybe she's going after the US title. Then we seen her confront Charlotte, saying we need to chat. We saw Charlotte and Jade teased. Jade loses to Nia. Looks like we're probably going to get another Jade and Naomi match as well.
Mm-hmm.
The split of Legato. So now Berto breaks away. Ray Phoenix, Andrade involved. Angel, of course. SmackDown did really good this week. Malachi or Aleister Black defeating Mello. Some good things happened on SmackDown I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Hopefully going back to 2 hours soon.
Yeah, they did say that we're going back 2 hours within the first week of June, so we only have probably about 2 to 3 more weeks before we go back to the 2 hour schedule. SmackDown, honestly, I feel like this is probably one of my favorite SmackDowns this year so far, just because of the pacing of it and the story progression that we got throughout the show. I enjoyed like the Humberto split. I would love to see Humberto be on his own, be his own man, potentially going after a intercontinental or U.S. title. I think that could be something good for him. I mean, he's proven he can do it before. The match that he had in 2019 when he first came up, I think out of 205 Live or NXT, he was having some great matches with AJ Styles, who was the U.S. champion at the time. And I think a lot of people back then were pulling for him to win that U.S. championship. I think there were even reports that they wanted to. So I think maybe they redo that again. I thought that what we did see on SmackDown was interesting. We knew that they were going to do some stuff potentially with the U.S. title for the women. I do expect maybe we do get Alexa teaming with Charlotte, or at the very least, we could see Alexa and Charlotte feuding, maybe over the U.S. Championship. I could see them doing that as well. I think that'd get more eyes on the U.S. title over on SmackDown, because we know we already know the inevitable that Charlotte's probably going to go up against Tiffany sooner rather than later, and she's probably going to take the title. So I think this will be something good for Alexa. I think Alexa probably will become U.S. champion. I think she deserves to be U.S. champion. I think she can do some great stuff with it, character-wise. I honestly don't think she necessarily needs to be with the Wyatt Six. Just let her be her own person. Maybe you can have a story where maybe she is aligned with the Wyatt Six, but they only have them featured when they need to be, when the story calls for it. I think that could be what they can do, that role that they could fit in. And other than that, maybe just Alexa does her own thing. I think her being back was really cool. I'm happy that she's back, and I'm just looking forward to see what they do with her. I know, like we said, we have Money in the Bank coming up. She might be featured in that. We have the all women's pay-per-view Evolution. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to feature as many women as they can and feature as many titles as they can. So who's to say they don't put the title on Alexa at Evolution?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think she's coming for that United States Championship, but I'm intrigued. Something with Charlotte not involving the world title yet. I can get with it. Fraxian, one of the best tag teams the best tag team in the world. Street Profits are probably number 2 right now, just off of what they've been doing. But man, I'm excited to see what they do. Big shows coming up. Like you said, Leo, Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks. Then Worlds Collide, Money in the Bank. Then we go to Saudi for Night of Champions 2 weeks after that. And then Evolution, 4th of July weekend, brother. How can the people keep up with you and what you got cooking up on your channel and anything else they need to know when it comes to Kicking It with Leo?
Yes, so my channel is Kicking It with Leo. You guys do wrestling content. More content will be on the way, because I will be dropping a video tomorrow where I will be talking about who I think currently right now are the 4 horsewomen, or at least the next generation of the 4 horsewomen, at least after the OGs. I think I'm going to post that video tomorrow, so y'all stay tuned for that. And y'all can get my opinions on that as well. Raw this week will be streaming tomorrow for Raw, NXT, AEW. Not sure if we're going to do Collision. After last Collision, we might need a break this Thursday, but we'll see.
Then we have on Thursday again?
I'm not sure. I
think it's on Saturday this week. I think it's on Saturday this week.
Yeah, it might be on Saturday this week, but we do have SmackDown this week as well, so y'all stay tuned for those shows. And like Brian said, we're on the road. Honestly, not even just Saturday Night Main Event. We're on the road to Money in the Bank and on the road to SummerSlam, so y'all stay tuned.
Appreciate it, brother. Love doing these with you, man. As always, great work, great content, man. Keep up the great work, Leo. And make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. Not now, but right now. It's the Flex Zone. You guys know the vibes. For Leo and everybody in the chat, happy Mother's Day yet again. You'll see a Leo back with me tomorrow for Monday Night Raw and NXT and AEW and Friday Night SmackDown. But appreciate it, Leo. Thank you as always, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. We're getting ready to get out of here. It's Sunday. Monday, tomorrow, a new week. And we appreciate you. Make sure you AA that subscribe button, spear that subscribe button, and make sure you vote on the poll. Let us know your favorite moment from Backlash. And make sure, like I said, hit the thumbs up on the way out. Pushes us out to the recommended for other people to find what we do here on the Flex Zone podcast. Anything else, Leo, before we get out of here?
Nope. Enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Leo, and appreciate all of you watching. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the bell. Backlash, one of the best shows of the year so far. We'll see what WWE cooks up on Raw tomorrow, and we'll be watching it with you live here on the Flex Zone. For Leo, God's favorite host, signing off. Good night, y'all. Happy Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow for Raw.